Hey, what's up, fam? I gotta say, for a series like Jujutsu Kaisen, it's funny that you don't really feel the main character as the main character. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of points in the series where it feels like Satoru is the main character. And I remember at Jump Festa when they had all of the pictures kind of laid out for all the different series. You had, the main characters for all the series. You figured they'd do that. For Jujutsu Kaisen, the author, she put Satoru as the representative for Jujutsu Kaisen, which I thought was pretty funny. And just in this chapter, it was really amusing how they kind of set it out because you had Satoru, Urahime, and the old guy, I don't remember his name, being like, oh, something's wrong. They got to figure it out. They realize that maybe some unidentified cursed spirits might have shown up, and they go to check it out. They see that one of the ones is dropping his screen, that being the weird one with the kind of T on his face, and he's got like a hammer and a bunch of rail spikes or something. And once they get there, like, oh, we got to get this screen, and this screen is different because they kind of compare like a normal screen when they put it up to keep people in or out. Is that usually there's the visual effect of it, and then there's the practical effect of it, and usually they're kind of lined up the same. That way, just kind of like making it so okay, you can see when it's coming up and coming down. This one though, the visual effect was slower, while the practical effect was much faster. So even before the what you could see touch the ground, it was already in effect. And it wasn't made like we need a barrier to keep everyone in, keep everyone from entering or anyone from leaving, but it was really from specifically to keep Satoru out. Like they set up this whole thing just to keep him, this one character, out of the whole mess of things. And he's definitely got a lot of hype on him. I'd say so far within the series, the most interesting character, even though he's set up as, this Paragon-like character. He's extremely powerful. He's a big deal. There's a lot to him that we'll figure out later. He just kind of sits as this big, massive wall for the shamans that just kind of rolls over on the cursed spirits, and it really shows in this one how much they take him seriously. When they're like, "All right, we're gonna invade all this. What are we gonna do to kind of lay up a screen so to figure out how we're gonna do this?" And like, let's just set it to keep Satoru Gojo, I don't say Gojo, I don't know pronounce his last name, out. And it just kind of, because I before doing this review, I went back to look at the chapter where he fought the volcano head cursed spirit, and just kind of that layout of when the guy uses territorial expansion, and it was like being inside of like a cave in a volcano, and you had all this lava spring everywhere and these big falling, volcanic rock boulders, and they're just covered in lava and melting metal, and it was just very much of a devastating looking ability. And then Sataru just used his and dropped his immeasurable. I think it was immeasurable void. I think what it was called. I'm gonna look. Yeah, immeasurable void, where it's just kind of this. It looks like the deep reaches of space, where it's just kind of making your brain like fluctuate all the necessary stimulations to survive. I think it was what it was, or like you couldn't, like you kept feeling and smelling and hearing and seeing things at such a massive degree that it kind of like completely stunts your brain. So it was hard to just figure out what to do. And so the guy is just so, was it the volcano guy was so entranced and just looking around and just being that he couldn't even remember he was in a fight. So it goes to show like how crazy Satoru is, or Satoru. I don't think it's Satoru, but anyway, you know who the character is. I got him on screen here, but just how exactly they see him and how intimidating he is. But the rest of the chapter went by pretty quick. It was this tree cursed spirit who is very interesting looking. I didn't notice actually when I saw him previously that one of his arms is much bigger than the other, because I was just looking at his facial design and with the cool tree branches coming out of his eyes. So he just had a really interesting aspect to his design itself when you have this big bulbous left shoulder and arm coming off him on top of everything else. And it's just like him not caring when you had a blood buzzsaw thrown at him, barely being phased for him having some verbal manipulation on him, and then just these big bird spirit from Magubi coming on him, as well as kind of bringing a sword to him, and just not really noticing a lot. Well, not really showing much damage for it. And the character itself seems to be kind of this manifested guardian, like, of nature, and he says he represents like the trees and the plants, and how exactly they can't survive with humans anymore because of the damage that they're doing to them. And it kind of reminds me of a Swamp Thing a little bit from DC Comics. Obviously not the same level of craziness, but just that kind of idea of it. And it definitely is pretty interesting. I'm wondering if the author has any form of inspiration from Swamp Thing. I don't know. But I am looking forward to the next one. Jujutsu Kaisen has been pretty fun, pretty consistently enjoyable since the start of the series. It's kind of like Chainsaw Man, where each chapter they're really fun, and they really set up a lot to do in the future, as well as you're gonna get a tone to it that you aren't getting from a lot of the shonen manga. Though I like a lot of shonen battle manga, Jujutsu Kaisen really feels different from the others, and I've compared it to the series I've compared it to is being kind of like Yu Yu Hakusho. You have a very similar tone and very similar layout to Yu Yu Hakusho with Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that's pretty cool about it. But anyway, that's it for this video. It's mostly a setup chapter and just a hype piece for Satoru, which is pretty cool. I think his character's pretty awesome. But other than that, drop a comment what you think about this chapter in the comments below. And hopefully you can get a thumbs up the video, like the video, and check out my other videos and subscribe for more. And other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.